It is my very great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon, Mr. Julian Lim. Julian graduated from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences with honors in Communications and New Media in 2003 and has since worked in several roles ranging from telemarketing sales to conducting interviews with F1 drivers. Some of his career achievements thus far include leading more than 100 staff and volunteers at the Singapore 2010 Youth Olympic Games as head of New Media, and being given the inaugural CNM Alumnus of the Year Award in 2009. He is currently Vice President of Group Corporate Communications at OCBC Bank, where his job involves promoting the bank on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. Outside of work, Julian dabbles in cycling and photography. He is also adept at pool and was once ranked among Singapore's top 16 nine-ball players. May I now invite Julian to deliver his speech, please.
Professor Tan Chaw Chuan, NUS President, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't seem like that long ago that I was seated where you are, looking up at your lecturers who are today dressed unlike any other time you've seen them. Welcome to Hogwarts for a day. And yes, there is that magic in the air. I'm extremely honored to be the first Communications and New Media alumnus to be invited back to stand up here to rally the troops before you go forth and conquer the world. But after the initial thrill of being invited to give this speech, I did some intense soul searching. So intense that I ended up with 2 days of MC at home, wondering what sagely advice I could possibly give. For those of you who've continually aced it through your academic lives and have jobs lined up after graduation, maybe you can tune out now and go shopping on Gmarket or whatever it is that overachievers like you do in your spare time. My speech is for everyone else that is somewhere about average, to tell you that there is hope for being in the bulge of the bell curve. For the record, I scored 2 A stars, 2 A's with an aggregate of 255 for my PSLE, a smattering of A's and B's for my O-levels, and a tragic B, E, and D for my A-levels. Finished off with a second lower honours in 2003 with the economy in the dumps. So after my decent start, I barely scraped into NUS by the skin of my teeth. Then through a combination of hard work, smart work, and some good fortune, in the last 15 years, I've managed to do well enough to be deemed worthy of standing before you today. So let me share with you some of the ingredients in my secret sauce in a series of 10 L's, L as in the alphabet. Number 1 L, learn. With NUS constantly ranked among the world's top universities, it looks like you guys have everything you need to go out there and succeed. But that can't be farther from the truth. Kudos to your lecturers who have given you the solid foundation on which to build on, but really there's much more that you're not going to learn in the classroom or lecture theatre. Henceforth, cherish every scolding, failure, bad experience, because there's nothing like learning firsthand for something to be seared into your memory. Case in point, when I started my job at Asia1.com, the news website, I clearly recall the first story I wrote being ripped to shreds by a very senior writer named Philip Lee. This was just after I had left as manager/editor of a website called youth.sg, where I called the shots. I had to swallow my pride and try again and again and again. I was pretty much as qualified as the interns around me. Until one day, one of the stories that I filed came back from Philip untouched. Maybe he hadn't seen it yet. But then there were 2 words on it. Good story. That was when I knew there was hope for me. 2, lead. In the classes you've attended, or for the guys who've been through NS, what's the standard reaction whenever somebody asks for a volunteer? Everybody looks down and pretends they have something better to do. When I was offered the role of head of new media at the Singapore 2010 Youth Olympic Games, I felt unsure of myself and really didn't know if I had the chops to do it. I eventually took the plunge, and I think I did pretty well, leading more than 100 staff and volunteers during the games. Not something I would have thought I'd be able to do. If you are later on offered a job that requires you to do exactly what you've been comfortable doing before, then maybe it's really not worth your while. I've been lucky because each of the jobs that have been offered to me have been a progression upward, where I've been given new responsibilities beyond what I'm used to doing, thus forcing me out of my comfort zone. Too often we think we are inadequate for some of the mammoth tasks that are thrust upon us. Sometimes the opportunity stares us in the face, but we are too scared to even try. Why? Maybe we've been told we are not good enough. Stop being afraid. Stop being the child recruit and look up. 3. Losers. Sometimes it's not guts that we lack, but we doubt ourselves because of the naysayers around us who whisper in our ears. You know what trolls are, right? The people who live online with nothing better to do than declare everything sucks. They're usually on Stomp or Yahoo or something like that. Don't feed the trolls, online and offline. Don't entertain them, don't give them attention. They are the ones who tell you it can't be done, that it's better to be mediocre. Haters gonna hate, right? Leave them, or else you end up being one of them. 4. Let it go. You know that song from Frozen that you've heard a million times? Okay. Too often we are held back by our past. Whether it's the boss who unfairly blamed you for something, or that boyfriend or girlfriend who tells you, it's not you, it's me. You need to let go. If you keep holding on to the past, you won't have the hands to grab onto what's coming. 5. Listen. As Asians, maybe we're brought up as kids not to speak until spoken to. Then when we come to university, the lecturers tell us to speak up. After that, some of us just won't shut up. It's confusing, right? Well, I'm telling you today that it helps to listen more. You don't need to take a vow of silence or anything, but it helps when you listen more. People are more likely to want to also listen to you when you actually have something to say. And to those of you who can't stop talking, you will eventually be treated like background noise and filtered out. There's a reason why we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. Also, as Singapore gets more crowded, it's important that you learn to be comfortable in your own skin. Sitting in silence, detached from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or whatever it is that has you perpetually plugged into your mobile phone. Take time to sit with your thoughts and achieve clarity. You'll be amazed at how many people are uncomfortable with this. They may just talk so that they don't have to sit in silence. And that's when you can find some interesting insights about them. 6. Laugh. It's a very, very, very powerful tool in your arsenal if you can put a smile on someone's face. Even more powerful if you can make them laugh. This doesn't mean that you should always be the clown, because then nobody will take you seriously. But it's an important social skill to be able to read a room and know how to get them on your side with a self-deprecating comment or witticism. And for all the single guys, you'll see that most ladies will always say that they want someone who can make them laugh. So yes, it's important. 7. Love. I've had colleagues who may have decided to marry their jobs. It's not uncommon to hear of people working insane hours at work and then posting their humble brags on Facebook. Is it really that cool to be working 12 or 16 hours every day? Sometimes we say we don't have a choice, but often we do. It's a matter of prioritizing, and it really helps if you can find something else outside of work to focus on. It could be a hobby, a sport, a new language, or even a love interest. Anything that takes you away from your work emails and your desk. As I've told some of my younger colleagues, if nobody dies or loses their job because you haven't done it, it's really not that important. For me, shooting pool has always been a good way to unwind. Recently, I've also taken to swimming, cycling, and running, and lost more than 10 kilos in the process. Looking forward to my first triathlon in a couple of months, so wish me luck. 8. LinkedIn. Here's one very practical tip from me today. Go start your LinkedIn profile if you don't have one already. If you do have one, keep it updated and differentiated. Go capo and see what your peers have in their profiles and improve on yours. Make sure you have a decent photo up there too. Honestly, I've got LinkedIn to thank for my current job, and I still get calls every once in a while from headhunters, even one just today. Nowadays, when people ask me for my CV, I just send them the link to my LinkedIn profile. Almost there, just 2 more. Number 9, live your own life. Parents, great job getting your kids here, and I think you can rest easy now. Now it's time for them to find their path and thrive. Lecturers, I hope you continue to leave your doors open to ex-students. I've had the benefit of good counsel from professors like Dr. Lim San San and Dr. Millie Rivera, who've since left for South Africa, who went from being my teachers to being my friends after graduation. Thank you all for the great advice. Graduates, give thanks to your parents and your teachers. Go give them a hug right after this. Know that some of you are going to find your feet quickly, while some of you may take a bit longer to find out what you want in life. Which brings me to the last L. 10, lean on me. Support each other. Be there for each other. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And certainly don't be afraid to offer it. One of my most important mentors, Dr. Francis Chong, former Deputy CEO at the Youth Olympic Games, once shared that in the event we find ourselves in despair and helpless situations, go look for someone to help. And it doesn't need to be a Nobel Prize-winning act, just something simple. Could be the cleaning lady, your neighbor, or even a stranger. You'll be amazed at how much you feel afterward. So, in summary, keep learning, don't be afraid to lead, stay away from losers, learn to let go, remember to listen. It helps if you can make people laugh, find love outside of work, get on LinkedIn, live your own life, and lean on me. So with that, congratulations, class of 2014. Time to go out there and find your own secret sauce. But first, let me take a selfie. Thanks guys, rock on.